Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Mac is back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Junikala, and today we're checking out Osiris by Luftrum. What is this thing? Let's go to the website to learn more. So this is a sound set for Dark Zebra, which is Yuhi's, I think it's still pronounced like that, but one of the best software synth developers out there. They have this thing called Zebra 2, or they did. I think it's gone into kind of a, I think they call it legacy now, because Zebra 3, I believe, is coming out. But Zebra 2 is the instrument, and then on top of it, adjacent to it, there's the Dark Zebra, which is a version, I guess is the best word, for Zebra 2 that I believe was maybe custom developed for or together with Hans Zimmer. And I believe it was Howard Scarr was also developing, I believe, sounds for that. So for that synth, that's a very long intro, geez, for Yuhi Dark Zebra, this is a sound set for that synth. Okay, are you with me? Good. I'm sure, I mean, most of you who are watching probably know what this is about, but if in case you don't, now you know that this is a sound set for that synth and not a dedicated synth of its own. And so today we'll be going through this sound set to hear what it sounds like. So this is curated by Luftrum, so it's sold on the Luftrum website, but this is created, or the sounds have been done by Sonic Underworld. So it's like a collab in that sort of a sense. But let's get reading. Again, Osiris presets for Dark Zebra, as we touched on. And there's a let's read this story, okay? Inside the monolith, time is measured in friction. There is no warmth here, only the cold, uncompromising precision of interlocking gears and the sharp, electric bite of the sparks. It is a place of controlled chaos, where the narrative is written in steel and shadow. This is the world of Osiris. Okay, so we have a little audiobook there for you. So, created by Stefan Baer. I think that's my best pronunciation. I'm sorry, Stefan, if that's not how it is, but you let me know how it is. Stefan Baer, let's go with that. Known also as Sonic Underworld, curated by Luftrum. This new collection of 200 presets for Dark Zebra / Zebra HZ, same thing, explores an industrial cinematic space. You know, I like myself some dark industrial cinematic. While previous releases such as Frost and Rogue were rooted in the dark low-end shadows, Osiris leans into friction and edge, shifting focus to the brighter distorted harmonics of the upper frequency register, with sounds that feel tense, raw, edged, and electrically charged, shaped by the surgical use of comb filtering, aggressive modulation, and intricate harmonic movement. So this is really what I love about these different sound packs, because they are sort of like precision sculpted for specific purposes, specific sounds more importantly. So I like that you can build a map in your head. Okay, Rogue is for this, Osiris is for this, there are so many of them, Convergence is for this. So you can kind of use them in your mental map as toolkits when you're writing, let's say, your cinematic music, and you're like, I feel like I need something like this. So if you know, okay, Osiris delivers that sort of top end that you're looking for, then you can go to that. And I personally like that, how it maps in my autism brain. The result is a palette that feels mechanical yet alive, equally suited for industrial underscore, dark electronica, and forward-leaning cinematic work. Inside you will find corrosive pulses, loop percussive elements, and kinetic sequences alongside driving polysynths, gritty bass lines, and electrified pads, all designed to cut through the mix with clinical precision. Stylistically, the set draws inspiration from the stark, brutalist landscapes of modern film and television scoring, the industrial tension of Nine Inch Nails, the surgical electronic of Mac Quayle, that's my best attempt, and the monochromatic intensity of Ben Frost. Sounds that don't apologize for their edges. Osiris is built for composers and producers working with pressure, contrast, and controlled chaos, where harmonic edge and tonal friction shape the narrative. Cool. Installation of this is super simple. You get the Soundset, you drag it on the Dark Zebra interface, and it's done. So super nice. Also seems like there's like a compounding, there's like a bundle offer here. 10% off when you buy this set and Frost together. If you're a member of the Inner Circle newsletter, this sounds very ominous, you can save 20% plus receive intro discounts on all future releases. Yeah, if you're into this stuff, I recommend joining the newsletter because they do have great offers. So yeah, probably not a better way to get your hands on those. Full price. Okay, so I checked my email. I couldn't see anything about whether this $39 is going to be the end-all, be-all full price, or whether this is already an intro price. I'm getting the impression it is the full price. What I did see is in the email, it does actually offer you exactly what they say here. So if you're a member of the Inner Circle newsletter, you can save 20%. So if you are a part of that, that should be in your email. And also if you're there, you'll continue to get those sort of offers in the future. So, I mean, based on this information I see here, looks like full price is $39. But as always, check the website just to be updated in terms of what the price is now, whenever you may be watching this. And yeah, they have these, what do you call these? Kind of stacking discounts. 2 products to the same shopping cart for 10% discount, add 3 for 20% discount, and add 4 for 30% discount. So utilize that if you deem it worthy. We have some videos here, some audio demos, but we're obviously not going to spoil any of that for ourselves and going to just go experience this for ourselves. Cool. Let's close Chrome here and just take ourselves into the DAW. When you install it, so you just drag the Soundset file onto the interface and it's done. I find it in my user tab here and click on Osiris, and here you go. And what's nice about the Dark Zebra is that you don't need to double click any of this. You can just click once. But the plan for today is to play as many of these as we possibly can. I'll be going through them from a perspective of immediate inspiration. So when I hear something that really clicks with me, I'll play for it for longer. I'll try and touch on everything here very briefly, at least. But in terms of, me to continue playing, I'll, need to get an idea in this locked dome of mine. So again, if I play something for longer, it's not necessarily a statement about, whether this is good versus the other ones I don't play are not good. It's simply, inspiration come and goes, and whatever speaks to me here in the moment, that's what I'll keep on playing. I'm sure that the story would be different if I filmed this on another day. That shifts from day to day. But that is the approach we'll be taking here. I do apologize for my voice, I sound very nasally and congested, and that's because I am. We've been sick for, the entire family has been sick for about, I don't know, over a week now. Pretty nasty case of a cold or flu, so that's due to that. But I'll try and be as clear as I possibly can in my pronunciation. In terms of what you'll be hearing today, it's only Osiris in action. I don't add any effects on top of it of any sort. No EQ, no reverb, no delay, no nothing. I only do have a limiter on my master bus to more easily control the final output level for this video. But that being said, it's set to be as transparent as I can possibly make it. So you should hear this in its very unaltered form. I'm simply controlling the gain so that the output is nice for you to enjoy. In terms of transparency, first of all, Luftrum did send me this copy, so thank you to them for doing so. I say them because Sonic Underworld and Luftrum. And also, I am being compensated for my time in checking this out. But as always, all opinions are my own, both in good and bad. I haven't been asked to say anything one way or the other, nor would I ever do that. Anything else we want to touch on here? I don't think so. So let's jump right into the first category, which is Arps. That's a really cool sound. It sounds like it's sort of like, it's like a simmering stew. It's like bubbling and shifting and moving. I can't quite figure out like exactly what it's going to do at each given point. But that's what is inspiring about it to me. Very cool. Very sort of organically shifting. Oh, listen to the clarity on that. That is so clean. Yeah, I'll do it. I mean, that's just it's so crisp, so clean. I really love this. When you push the mod wheel up, it gets more spreaded, more splashy. Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful, wonderful stuff. It's a really, really, really cool sound. I'm really impressed by how it's like a combination of like crisp preciseness, but also this kind of splashy sound to the side. Also, it has a very nice bit of freshness. Like when you go into a library that's described to be like dark, but like brightly distorted, I'm always a bit afraid because I'm like, is it going to be like too brittle and too bright? And I'm like, is it going to be my kind of thing? Like, I don't know. I'm very excited. I mean, we're only like, 5 presets deep, but this has a very nice, like fresh edge to it. It doesn't get brittle. It doesn't get nasty or harsh, but it's like, it's pleasantly fresh. And I'm already seeing like in many situations with cinematic music, you want to have something driving, but you don't want it to, take anything away from the orchestra. So you need something super precise, something that punches through nicely. But again, the danger there is the harshness. This sounds very like custom tuned, not to get in the way. And also this implies low end in a very, very nice way. Let me look at the scope here. Yeah, so even down here we get like a focus, like the fundamental at like 100 hertz, and then we get below that we get these kind of splashy low end washes or artifacts, and you can feel it. It's not for nothing. It's not redundant. This is a very, very nicely balanced sound that way. And this way you can get something like this even in an orchestral setting to again imply like a driving synthy low end thing. But you're still going to have your low end from your strings, your brass, your percussion, whatever else you might have. So this is a really, really, this will be a very nice pairing for that. And this is done knowing these sort of things. It doesn't happen by chance. But yeah, very excited for this. Let's move on. That's very impressive. I like how this does have like a bubbly, simmering thing. It's still like very strongly in the synthetic realm, but it has a way of behaving in a way that's organic. It's not trying to sound like realistically organic, but it has like the behavioral qualities of that. It's like a simmering, bubbling quality to that. That's very, very cool. Very cool. I love that kind of stuff. I would probably go in here and maybe make things open up a bit more here. But again, that's just a stylistic choice that they wanted to do. Go from more of this like percussive thing to like a softer edge transient there. Cool. Moving into what I believe are bass lines. Okay, these get pretty loud. Pull back the volume here. It's actually nice. I like how some of the harmonics there are kind of like together are going to make this kind of squealy sound. I mean, these kind of things are so good for when you have that kind of cinematic, big orchestral thing going, but you need something to create a bit of momentum and drive. And you can't put like a massive bass thing in there, because that's just going to make the orchestra feel smaller, and all of that low end is going to fight with a lot of the other low end elements. So those kind of things are really, really useful. I really like this. The soft edge on that is just beautifully smooth. Very full sound, beautiful smooth sound to it. And also I love the tiny digital futuristic details they're moving in the back. That's going to be certainly one of my favorites from here. I love that sound on the top. It sounds like a machine is, working and moving there. Beautifully percussive. Super cool. Very, soundscapey building. Sounds very full. I mean, how full, how clear, how nicely balanced is that? A lot of these, if you go into these bass sounds, they're probably going to be like at their fullest in this sort of a area, in this sort of a zone, and then because it seems like the resonance of the fundamental is kind of optimized for these, then they get sort of more implied here, sort of hazier. So definitely something worth keeping in mind when you play these. Running out of fingers there, and also brain cells, it seems like. Again, here it's like some of the details are, they have this spitty detail, bubbly, simmering thing here. Even listening to this. And that kind of smooth, buttery edge there, small, like it basically this synth, like in principle, when you listen to this, sounds like a very simple sound. Like you have this top like thing, and then the low end, nice fullness there. Slight, tiny things that are modulating and moving around, really elevate it to that next level. Yeah, even a sound like that, very easy to make that harsh and nasty, but it's not. Like obviously it's made to be edgier in that top end and gritty and distorted, but it's not nasty at all. Cool. Moving into, I think this is just like the basic bass folder. I'm trying to see if, yeah, poly synth bass. Cool. Cool, I like that. Some of these, like even a bass sound can paint a soundscape. It's very cool, very inspiring. Very cool pairing. Obviously the bass here with these settings is doing the sweep on its own. But then you can actually, you know, I don't know if I was muted there. But then you can obviously add another layer with this mod wheel assignment. I like that. It gives you kind of like 2 layers of control of how hard you want to lean into that. Yeah! Yeah, was I muted? I gotta do that again. I balls it up. Let's move on. Really cool. It's just so like juicy and drivey. As you can hear, it really like comes alive around this zone. It's like I'm a baker or something here, but yeah, they're very nice. Just impressed how like juicy and full it is, and still like super clear, precise, punchy. This is why it's such a pleasure to work with these sounds, especially in the type of things that I do overall a lot, but especially now. there's a thing I'm working on, but just so good for like obviously a number of genres, but like cinematic work. They're just so like meticulously tuned. Okay, let's move on. Damn, we can go even louder, a lot louder. Beautiful, big range for that growl to come in. Very, very nice. You can go from like a very subtle thing, like a strong established bass, but more withdrawn, and then roar, like that. That's really good for when you need that big dynamic range for the distortion itself. beautiful. I mean, this is supposed to be like a bass sound, but I love this top end here. Yeah, everything here, like the filtering, the way it distorts, beautiful. You can work this into a very, very beautiful pad. I would do some tweaks there, but yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I love this. Could very easily work that into one of those blinky blonky sounds that I love so much. Love that. That's so spitty, so nice. It's kind of like, again, the preset has this kind of release behavior, and that, again, for me as a composer, when I hear that sound, I'm like, ooh, I'm inspired to move in a certain way due to that, which is, again, like one of the wonderful aspects of using someone else's sound design versus your own, because it gives you a different perspective. All right, moving into DR folder. So yeah, drums. In other words, I'm just reading the descriptions are useful here. Again, categories: drums, big drums, drums, kicks, metal. Okay, cool. So let's move this page here and do some drums. It's actually a really nice hi-hat. I like that. Super nicely tuned kick. It's actually really nice. I'm not like a big synth drum user a lot of the time. Depends obviously what I'm working on, but very clean, very precise, very nice. All right, moving into the LP folder, which stands for loop. Stands for loop, of course. Actually really nice that you can find really cool sounds that you like. You can then not do the loop or the sequence part of it. Yeah, I wonder why they're called loops instead of... Is there sequences separately? Yes. Okay, so I mean, it's probably like I'm sure there's a good reason for that. It's probably based on another, not like a sequence or a principle. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I love that sound. I would love to use that beyond that loop. I feel like I'm in a weird futuristic nightclub. Yeah, these are really, really nice. Yeah, come on. Welcome to the nightclub. Obviously that top end is like very aggressive, but I love it. That would be very nice for some like a alarm type of evoking thing. Yeah, again, like sounds are really, really good. Again, the imaging sense of weight and space there is great. Yeah. Very cool. Super like thick and suffocating. Very impressed by how like just how metallic that is. Again, there's that like spitty bubbling quality that's going to wake up a listener if you throw that into into a track for sure. Cool. Moving into the PD folder, which I believe stands for pads. So, those are the Velcro straps of my trousers getting stuck with one another. Cool. Pads, always looking forward to this. So, here we go. I like this a lot. I would tweak it a tiny bit, but I do love these where the harmonics, the perception of pitch is such that you obviously have that implied harmony beyond what I'm actually playing. Well, not implied. established, I guess. But it's still subtle enough that you can get the original intent. And I would probably go in there and slightly tweak the levels to kind of like match the compositional vision there. But it's beautiful, and that gliding, that shifting from note to note, really, really good. We'll also throw a lot more reverb in there, but yeah, absolutely loving this. Super beautiful. I love how the top end begins to like sparkle and you get those individual crumbs, I guess, on top of there. This is beautifully done. Absolutely fantastic. Very nice and puffy and fluffy. Really interesting how it has that like bloop, sort of bloopy bloppy establishment there. But yeah, I would love to jump in there and tweak that further. That's a really cool, interesting idea. Very visceral. It's very, very nicely put together. That's the limiter crapping out, because that gets very loud. Super, super nice. I love the softer thing underneath there. I would probably, for what I'm envisioning, I would probably lessen the sparkly electric stuff on top, but I love that thing there underneath. That is the limiter crapping out. Yeah, you're probably not going to be surprised that I love those kind of dark, cinematic spacey pads. Yeah, again, super clear, clean, precise. Very nice. Cool, so that was the pads moving into SC, which stands for Soundscape, I believe. beautiful. Yeah, we'll need to probably tune that to make it tonal, if you wanted to. That was the limiter clipping there. Cool, moving into sound effects. You can actually do a lot of really cool electronic music with that. How nasty is that? All right, and this should be the sequence folder. Beautiful. That sounds like it's like machined sound. It's so like pristine and like precise. Like everything, every component in the sound itself here is just like hyper intentional, hyper clear. Right, going into, I guess this is just like a synth folder, and we might have a bunch of different other things in here. This is in the leads category, but let's see. absolutely stunning sound. Probably for that idea, which is obviously not very like aligned with the theme of the library, would probably tone down the aggressiveness. But I mean, wow. Again, like so many beautiful ideas. Again, here I'm like, I would take it into a different direction just out of the inspiration that I'm getting. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful ideas. Beautiful. gorgeous. All right, then we have a TR folder, which is, I guess, let's see, transition. Okay. That is clipping. Cool. Nice. We did it. We went through all of them. Some more, some less, but yet still we did it. Cool. Very nice. So very, I can't say positively surprised because standards are pretty high for any Luftrum release, and the track record has been, rather solid. So I can't say I'm surprised. But from the perspective of going in here and not really, I mean, I knew what to expect based on the description, but it's always a different thing when you put your own hands on it. So my favorites here as we go through these, which is not usually the case. I'm not like a huge, I think when I demo bass type of sounds, I'm probably not at my best. Maybe depends on depends on the kind of sounds, I guess. And what they sort of, imply or evoke in me. But personally, I love the Arps, love the bass stuff, because again, like I mentioned earlier, I love how they sit in this really nice spot of not making the bass fundamental sound of it too big. Because if it's too big and you're trying to, in my case, pair it with let's say an orchestra, I need that kind of that big weight to come in most cases from the orchestra itself, like strings, brass. You want to have, like, if I want to put like a driving bass thing in there, it can't be too overwhelming because then the orchestra is going to sound small. Something's got to give. There has to be space for that. So these are really good if you want to have like that driving, punching through sound, but still give space for everything else in there. Now, it could be an orchestra, it could be something else for you. I imagine these are really nice to pair with percussive elements as well. So really good. And then, like I said, like these sort of octaves here are where the basses really are their fullest and drive at their best. And then you do have this like the harmonics, the distortion, this extended top gives you that like piercing effect, which gives you that, like, when it's paired in the right way with the other sounds, like the orchestra in my mind in this case, gives you that kind of driving bass line, even though the bass itself isn't very like super bass heavy. And also here below the fundamental point, you get this like really nice sub bass there, which does enhance the perception of like a big driving juicy bass. So those really were very impressive to me. Also the drums, we didn't have a ton of them here, and I'm not a huge like drum user in this way, but I really thought they were super solid. Again, like what this Soundset, it gives you, I was really impressed by the precision, the clarity. Like some of these presets were like, it sounded like they were machined, like a CNS machine or whatever technology is the best these days. I don't know, maybe that's like dated information, but like milled, machined to like precision. They were just so clean, so like they cut super nicely. Nothing sounded extra, but they're still like super effective, full, present sounding. So that was like overall the sound of this. That was a very impressive aspect to me. There are a lot of these loops in here, which I honestly don't know the difference between like a sequence here and a loop. I couldn't pick it up from here. But I guess they're sort of in a similar bucket. I'm sure there's a like conceptual difference here, and maybe the creators can comment down below. But really, really good stuff in there. From my perspective, I would be most interested in the sounds in those particular loops, and then undoing the sequencing and doing something of my own. But I love that they are inspirational starting points. There's so many good sounds in there that, and also the patterns can inspire compositional ideas as well. But I don't do like I prefer playing things in and sequencing by MIDI. Of course, sometimes it doesn't create the exact sound you're after, so you might want to use the sequencer on the synth, because it does give a different type of a sound. But those were really, really nice as well. Again, I love Luftrum pads or Sonic Underworld pads. Big fan of those. Again, here I obviously, due to my background, tend to lean into the more like darker, cinematic, very like emotional things in here, which are in here and I love. But in typical fashion, those are of really, really high quality. Soundscapes kind of go in that same bucket. They're definitely more like atmospheric and less playable in many cases, although not in all cases. But those were really good if you're building some kind of like a cinematic soundscape for like games or whatever soundtrack you're working on. Super nice. The synthy sounds, or the synth category sounds, they can get, well, this is kind of like, again, when you go into a library like this, you need to keep the function in mind. Because again, what I love about the approach that Luftrum is taking with these and Sonic Underworld is the kind of the thematic approach. It's like, let's make a library that does not X, Y, and Z, but like X or Y or Z. So I love that you can, in your mind's library, you can build an understanding of, okay, this library does that sound and this library does that sound. This is aiming to be in that more edgier, grittier, high, like top end type of a sound. So these synths are going to be, in general, like harsher in that sense, but you have to remember that they are trying to serve that function. So on their own, again, this is like demonstrating these alone is perhaps not completely fair, because they can sound, without the context of the rest of the music, they can sound harsh. But yeah, I would be pairing these with something else to give them musical context. But of course, you can always, even if you are using them on their own, pull back the harshness in a multitude of ways. And that's the beautiful thing about Soundsets, is that they are just utilizing the synth here, so you can go in there and do your own tweaking. I did absolutely fall in love with many of the, like a lot of these sounds, they have that like harsher top end built in there, but there's nothing stopping me from going there and, you know, easing it down or removing it even entirely if I want to. But there were a few in here that had like a beautiful like sound sort of underneath that I really liked. I mean, those were the ones I got stuck on playing, but you get the idea. But very interesting, very useful, very unique colored sound set from Luftrum. I think it fills up the lineup very nicely, and yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of music you make, this can have tremendous utility. I know for myself, the arps and the basses are definitely going to go in the toolbox, so I can make my cinematic tracks drive the way that I want them to. Cool. That is it for this video. If you have this already, because I think this has been out maybe a day or two, depends when this comes out, I guess. If you have this, let me know your thoughts, and as always, of course, let me know what you think of this video as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Finished.